there's this whole other part, many people say up to 70%, which is actually about how we say it, that can actually make the difference. So just think, when you met that lovely new person in the room just then, what impression did you get? Not just from the words they said, but also how they said it.
So talking about non-verbal communication and how you can use that effectively to lead people and culture through change in your organization, please welcome back to the stage, Jessica Kiley.
Thank you, Craig. All right, non-verbal communication is all about the language of the body. So right now, I would like all of your bodies to stand up, because we need some energy. We've got to keep receiving. And I'd like you to turn around and find someone who you do not know and introduce yourself. Say, hey, who are you? What's something you just learned in the last 20 minutes? What's something you've just learned? All right, make sure each of you have had a chance to say hello. Very good. Take a seat. Take a seat. Now, Pedro took you through a really great structure on what to say. We find that a lot of the time when people are putting presentations together, whether it's for a keynote, training, a presentation, explaining, they're sometimes lost when it comes to what's the best structure. Pedro's giving you a really great one for that. But that's only a small percentage of communication, or getting communication right. What to say, just the words. There's this whole other part, many people say up to 70%, which is actually about how we say it, that can actually make the difference. So just think, when you met that lovely new person in the room just then, what impression did you get? Not just from the words they said, but also how they said it. Was there a smile? Or was there a seriousness on the face? Was there movement in the body? Or was there stillness in the body? Unconsciously, we are actually taking in that information and making up a judgment about what it means. But it goes two ways, of course. Now, often we see executives, leaders, trainers even, they too easily slip into a default mode of communication. It's the way they've always done it. And actually, there's not many people around them that they have that have given them any feedback on how that's coming across. I can see some nods of heads in the room. We have to sit through meetings and things like that where the person speaking is actually really boring. The tone hasn't changed for the last 20 minutes. Or, even better online in the last 2 years, they're trying to inspire and get collaboration and all the cameras are off, including theirs. We've got no non-verbal communication happening there, in a way. The best way we can then inspire others to do it is to be doing it ourselves. And sometimes we're not even aware of our own non-verbals and the impact that they're having on others. And if we want to lead people, if we want to lead cultural change, we want to lead our families, we want to influence, the better we know ourselves, the better we can do that. And the only way to do that is to become aware of it. So I'm going to take us through 3 key areas of non-verbal communication. And I'd love for you to start seeing some of these you naturally do as a default and see if it's working for you or not. Because, hey, it could be really working. And then others you might be able to use that you're not utilising. Because communication is always about the listener, not you. What do they need in order for it to land, in order for it to inspire? Not what makes you comfortable sometimes. Sometimes we have to make it a little uncomfortable to make sure it really helps them to understand what you're wanting. So in terms of our non-verbals, today we're going to look at 2 buckets in a way. Now, of course, communication, particularly body language, is very nuanced. It is very contextual as well. But for the purpose of time today, we're going to look at a group of non-verbals that are considered to come across to the listener as more credible. And then a group of non-verbals, things that happen in our bodies, that will then make it feel a lot more approachable. And you'll start to notice already, even from our speakers, the differences and how it impacts you as a listener. What keeps you interested? What doesn't? So if we have a look at those, first with the face, a really great way to remember either side. The credible side is like a news reader. So think right now, people who you listen to speak or present, even in team meetings, executive updates, who is more like a news reader? And then on the other side, we have those who are more like the trainer, the corporate trainer, a lot more approachable. That's an easy way to remember the two sides. One is neither better than the other. We need both in our communication toolbox. So with the face and the newsreader, do we blink more or do we blink less when we see a newsreader? Tell me? Less. Very good. And the smile is less too, isn't it? Because when we want to be credible, when there's moments when we want that groundedness, that trustworthiness to come through, we're going to smile less. We're going to blink less, just like a newsreader, because that comes across as trustworthy. But then there are moments when we need to create connection and engagement, and we need to make sure the smile is there, and we can blink a little bit more as well. Now with the blink less, don't worry, yes, you can literally train yourself to blink less. It is very tricky. But also if you notice in terms of the head, what is a head doing? Imagine even a movement of a head saying something to you. Less movement of the head feels more credible. More movement of the head feels like I'm going to get involved and listen to you. Kind of makes sense, but sometimes we don't realize what we're doing or not doing. We just move into a default. What about our body? What is our newsreader doing with the body? Stillness, exactly. Yes, can you imagine a newsreader like happily telling you that there's bombing happening in the Ukraine? Incongruence. And we know it. Instinctually, we know it. The best communicators start to make it conscious for themselves to start using it. So we have fewer gestures when we want to be credible. But if we're sitting with one of our teammates, our other team leaders, and we need to create connection, we're going to use more gestures. And if you don't, potentially they're going to think that you're a bit more standoff. So all in all, we're seeing a lot of a trend here, aren't we? We've got less of everything sitting on the newsreader side and more on the approachable side. Then what about our voice? As a trainer and a corporate trainer, what happens with their voice? A lot of variation, isn't it? I'm doing it right now. Exactly. Whereas in moments when you need to land your message, you're going to have the stillness, flatten the pitch, and very much finish down at the end. Many Australians have the tendency to finish up at the end of every sentence that they finish, like they're asking everyone for permission, and if they agree. We're laughing because we know people who do it, right? But have you told them? Ah, good on you. Too often we don't, and they don't realise the impact it's having. It just lowers their credibility straight away. And they may be the smartest, the most, expert in that area, and they don't realise that that is happening a lot at the end. Then we want to keep a slow rate as well. Who knows people when they speak, you've listened to them, and there's just like this constant talking that's coming out of them. We've got lots of nods of heads. Is that yourself or someone you know? We'll see. We want to slow down. Now, especially if you work in organisations where it is global. People are doing English as a second language. There's a lot of processing that's happening. We see this a lot in the organisations we work with. We work with people in India, Malaysia, Croatia, all sorts of places, and yet they're communicating in English. And it's the slow down part. Say less to then making your point. Give people time to really take it in and process what you've said. And you want to take that pause. Too often, we don't finish a sentence with a full stop. It just keeps going. And, so, then, and it just keeps going. Not the best in terms of communication. Communication is all about to make common. That's what the word comes from. We can't make a common understanding if we're constantly adding on top. Now, we're going to put this into practice right now, people. I want to see how good you are. This is a chance you can actually take out your phones in a moment, because the biggest thing about being a great leader is self-awareness. And not very often do you go and watch yourself speak and present, do you? You just do it. And you often then don't get feedback afterwards. It's what we love to do at Speakers Institute Corporate, is give feedback. So we're going to practice with these two sentences. With these two sentences, you're going to practice being highly credible, and you're going to practice being highly approachable. The two ends to get a feel for each side. Now, the reason why you're going to use your phone, because you're going to video yourself. You're going to turn it around. I know people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to watch it. Nobody else is going to watch it. You can post it on social media if you really want to. It is a practice in self-awareness. Because after our session today, I want you to go back and watch it. And I want you to watch it with the sound off and have a look. And if you feel confident, you can show with a few other people, or even watch back over some recordings of things of you speaking, and you'll start to see and hear these differences. So let's all just practice the two sentences together one time to get a bit of practice in. Are we ready? After 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Creativity is thinking new things. Innovation is doing. Great, excellent. Already can you feel a certain default in yourself? Some people just want to go, creativity is thinking new things. And others are just like, creativity is thinking new things. Innovation is right, you've already got a default you're probably going to get a sense of. So first time around, we're going to do highly credible and pretend we are a newsreader. Longer pauses. We go back. Oh no, it doesn't go back. Does it go back? Yes. Longer pauses. Flatten your tone. Finish down. Move less. Then we'll go across to approachable and you get to come alive. So everyone, take out your phones. Oh my God, they say. Who said to come along to this? You're going to make me do something. Whoa. So switch it on. Video only. Don't go checking all those messages now. Switch it on. Turn it around to you so that all you can see is you. Take a breath. The breath is one of the most important parts of communication. We don't have time today to go through that. Breath is important. Take a breath. Think of the newsreader. Go slow, less movement, flat and down. Press record. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, we'll press pause. We get to do that again. We didn't have the words right up there. Some people just knew it automatically. That's all right. But I'll put it back up here again for us all. There was our run through. Let's try that again, newsreaders. I heard some really good flat tones happening there. See if you can put a gesture in even. Creativity, but hold the gesture, is doing new things. 1, 2, 3, go. Creativity is doing new things. Good, I like it. Lots of up-and-coming newsreaders in here. Now, other side, one more time. We're going to do this. Come alive. I know it feels weird, doesn't it? That's okay. I'm pushing you one side to then feel the extreme, to then come back to what feels a little natural. But we need moments of this activity. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. Excellent. I want to encourage you all to watch those back. Have that ability of the self-awareness, and it'll feel uncomfortable, But if we don't push ourselves, if we're relentless in the pursuit of excellence, it means being uncomfortable sometimes and watching ourselves back. It's been a pleasure to lightning fast do some non-verbals with you. I'll hand you back over to